The desk of Rokani Media Football looks like Zinchenko is one of those players that Arsenal feel like he should leave the club of Arsenal because he is not matching the levels of the club and the expectations of the club of Arsenal. Vincent Kompany has gone ahead and spoken out onto his Bayern Munich job. Remember, he was really unveiled yesterday and he was really given the role to manage Bayern Munich for the next years to come. And breaking news confirmed by Fabrizio Romano, it's a here we go. Antonio Conte is now the new manager of Napoli. And for Arsenal fans, the next video coming in through, it's all about Victor Osimhen, right? Victor Osimhen to the side of Arsenal, and we don't know whether this announcement that is going to be put out by the side called Fabrizio Romano, that they're going to have to sign Antonio Conte as their new manager, will obviously affect their interest in really letting this guy stay at Napoli. Smash like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Second video of the day, and this is Rokani David All RD football news show. It is, let's see, close to 300 likes. Smash on this video, and we thank God for the gift of life, the Muslims. Barakallahu fikum. Let's obviously start it off with Steve K. He works for the transfer.com. He told us that Newcastle and Bayern Munich are keen on Oleksandr and Zinchenko, with Arsenal setting an asking price of 45 million euros for the left back. For the Bundesliga giants, the Ukraine international has become one of the players high on the list to replace Alphonso Davies, who looks destined to leave in the summer for Real Madrid. Then we had John Cross Miller adding more to this story yesterday. He's a chief football writer in there for you, and he told us that Bayern Munich are watching developments on Arsenal defender Oleksandr Zinchenko. Now, will it be so early to hear that he wants to leave the club of Arsenal? I think it would be so early for everyone who hasn't gone ahead to be following this channel, but I was one of those who had told you in the final bend of the season that ever since Arsenal returned from Dubai, Zinchenko hasn't gone ahead to feature a lot into the team of Arsenal. You know, Jakub Kivio, Tomiyasu have gone ahead to get more minutes than him in the calendar year games they played of 2024. You can all admit with me, or you can all agree with me. And I told you, broad daylight, that Zinchenko's time at Arsenal is coming to an end. And I'm not surprised that teams like Bayern Munich are really looking after him. They have to look after him because there is no way you come out. There is no way you come out and really keep at the club of Arsenal if I tell you as Zinchenko, yet you're not getting in ample playing time. And we've also gone ahead to hear rumors from Fabrizio Romano that Arsenal need a new left back. You know, that means that they want to obviously move on some players. You know, when you look at that backline of Arsenal, Arteta is lacking a left back who serves both purposes right. When I talk about serving both purposes right, what do I mean? I mean a left back who can defend very well and obviously go forward very well. For example, like in the Premier League, you can look at players like Cucurella, you can look at Luke Shaw, you can look at Jesco Vadio, you can look at Alphonso Davies. You can also look at which other left back is really exquisite. I think Estupian at Brighton does it very well. You know, such defenders. And for Zinchenko, he's more proven in the offensive part of play and obviously giving Arsenal possession. But look at how he really looks when Arsenal is being really attacked into the first third of the pitch of Arsenal. You know what happens? He's being exposed. And I went ahead and told people that look at how Arsenal concedes the goal of Aston Villa in a game that most of you think put Arsenal off the trophy. And Zinchenko was out of position, you know. So you have to really understand that defensively he's really lacking. And I think out of those assessments that Arsenal have gone ahead to make in the due course of the season, it's that Zinchenko maybe deserves to not be played as a left back. Though for me, I have a different thought altogether, that For us, instead of Arsenal to go in for midfielder, they should move Zinchenko into the midfield of Arsenal and let another left back be given was to be played onto the left back. But according to what Arsenal think and what they want, when you're having Partey, Jorginho and Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard, there is no way Zinchenko gets into that midfield. And even if you move on Partey and you bring on Douglas Luiz or Bruno Guimaraes or Zubimendi, Zinchenko can't really get into that team to play in there for you. And we all know why Zinchenko left the club of Man City. It's because for him, he believes he's supposed to be played as a left back. You get? Not a midfielder, not a forward, not a left forward or right forward. You know, and he sort of did that on several occasions. Pep Guardiola kept really shifting him from one position to another, and his mild dynamism made him hate Man City, and he really pushed out to leave and join the club of Arsenal. That is what we got from the side of the people close to the deal. And it looks like Zinchenko won't entertain any team that plays him not into the left back position. So he's like, all I want is simple. Get me where I deserve to be. And where do I deserve to be? I should be the left back. When you look at the left back position of Arsenal, as it stands right now, Zinchenko is in the 4th pecking order. That is it. He's 4th on the pecking order because I think Julian Timber comes first, Tomiyasu, Jakub Kiwior, and Zinchenko. And how is he going to beat all of those players to get into the position of really winning that position back? We don't know. And the other biggest disadvantage of him is that injuries have gone ahead to start catching up on him. That is it. Injuries have gone ahead to start catching up on him, and he has gone ahead to miss most of this season because of injuries. And those injuries have gone ahead to pave way for Jakub Kiwior to obviously be admired and appreciated as a left back for Arsenal, though he was brought in as a left-sided centre back. So that is what really happened at the side of Zinchenko. The red flags are really there for him, and I tell you what, Arsenal is like, we should be really putting this player off. And it takes you back to the game of Liverpool that saw Arsenal draw 1-1 with Liverpool at the Emirates. You remember Salah went ahead and really skipped easily past Zinchenko, and everyone was like, if that was Tomiyasu, I think Salah wouldn't have gone ahead to score that goal. You understand? And those were 2 points dropped, and those 2 points dropped at Anfield were the ones that saw Arsenal really lose out onto the trophy to Man City. You never know, if they had a decent left back, maybe Arsenal wouldn't have gone ahead to concede very many goals. I can really take you back to the game of Fulham that saw Arsenal lose by 2-1. The way Arsenal lost out, to that game and very many others, I think Zinchenko is really one of those to blame in such games. And I think for Bayern Munich, they feel like Alphonso Davies is not going to renew his contract, and Real Madrid is at his back and they want to sign him for 50 million euros. You get? Bayern wants 50 million euros, but they're in the weakest position ever because the player is left with 1 year on his contract, and if at all they don't really let him go now and sell him for accept the amount of money that Real Madrid gives them, then they lose him out on a free, like they lost out Jadon Alaba, you understand? So I think if Alphonso Davies really comes out and says, I want to go, then they have to sell him because he won't be willing to obviously put in a signature. And if at all I'm Arsenal, as I look for the left back, I can't go for Alphonso Davies. I tell you, if I'm Arsenal and if I'm Mikel Arteta, we struck a deal with Bayern Munich. You want Zinchenko, and let's take in Alphonso Davies. You make an exchange, add them 5 million euros because they want 50, get in Alphonso Davies onto that left back position. He's a very good left back, and we all know that a lot is really going on as to plan. So let's obviously wait and see how things are really going to pan out onto that side of Arsenal and Zinchenko. But it looks like as Zinchenko is going to be playing in the Euros for the side of what's the name of the team? Ukraine, he's going to be looking at what his team has or what his next career is going to be as far as his club football career is really concerned. Now, Fabrizio Romano recently came out and really gave us a lengthy discussion, all his lengthy know-how of Zinchenko's next destination. Is he going to stay at Arsenal or not? And he was asked on the doubts over Zinchenko could force Arsenal to sign a replacement this summer. He said, it's a possibility. It's not guaranteed yet because from what I'm hearing, Arsenal are still waiting to understand what they want to do at the end of the season. They want to see what happens in the Premier League to decide what they want to do regarding investments in different positions, but left back could be one of the positions to cover. This is something they have discussed internally. So at the moment, we don't have names yet because they don't have a proper decision on who the player they want to sign is. But bringing in a new left back in the summer window is possible. Now, bringing in a left back in the summer transfer window is possible. Have you heard that? It's what? It's possible. And I tell you what, there are players that Arsenal has already gone ahead to get linked to. You understand? So Zinchenko to Bayern Munich is one of those deals that I'm really keeping an eye on. You get? I'm really keeping an eye on to such deals, and I just can't wait to see to it that this really comes to a point where we know whether Zinchenko is going to be kept at the club of Arsenal, or they are going to really show him the exit door. Now, let's get a little bit to Bayern Munich before I bring you the Antonio Conte story and see what is really happening at Bayern Munich. Now, at Bayern, Kompany on whether Bayern's offer surprised him. He said, I wasn't surprised. I live my job so intensively that I don't have much time for that. I was immediately convinced by Max and Christopher and later by all the others. At top clubs like Bayern Munich, you have to stand together internally. What the outside world would think, what the outside world thinks doesn't matter. I don't care about that. Obviously, he cannot come out and say that he was surprised, but I tell you he was surprised. But we all know that this job came to his way because of Pep Guardiola recommending him. They had to really talk to Pep Guardiola because Pep Guardiola's relationship with Bayern Munich is not toxic, it's really nice, and he told them that I really trust him. He's really good and he can really take you to where you deserve to be. And Bayern Munich are really looking at him as that player or that manager that can really give him what Pep Guardiola gave to Barcelona. He was managing Barcelona B, given Barcelona A, he made wonders. Ever since then, to me, he has gone ahead, obviously, put himself up there as the best manager in club history. I tell you, he's really one of those managers that you look at and really understand that he has gone ahead to do the needful. So for me, I know he was surprised, but up in his camera, he cannot come out and say he was surprised, because saying he was surprised, like belittling Bayern Munich, that how could they go in for a manager who could be surprised, obviously getting the job, yet they're supposed to go in for a manager who is sure that the job is supposed to be his. You understand? That's exactly what we are having in here onto the Rokani Media Football. Then he had something to say. He said, I coached one of the youngest teams in Belgium, that is Anderlecht, and one of the smallest teams in England. What I bring to the table are things that will help the players to improve. I have a clear vision and I will also implement it here in Germany. Obviously, his clear vision and plan is simple. Pass that ball from the back and do the needful. You know, that is him. And at Anderlecht, he was playing the same thing. And I've gone ahead to see it that Sambi Albert Lokonga is being linked to Bayern Munich because this man recommended him to Mikel Arteta to sign him while he was still at Anderlecht. And having gone ahead to have a very beautiful season way down in Luton, you never know what might happen. This man might be like, can you get me Albert Sambi Lokonga? I see a player in him that is going to become one of the best midfielders in the world. So that's what he said. And we wait to see how he's gonna deal with the situation of Alphonso Davies, because Alphonso Davies is gonna be playing into the Copa America with Canada, and we'll be here waiting to see what what will be put on the table to see to it that a lot really goes the way they want it. Because if a decision is made and Vincent Kompany convinces Alphonso Davies to stay, then Bayern will obviously stay with Guerrero and Alphonso Davies. If Alphonso Davies isn't convinced by Vincent Kompany, then he'll be like, allow me go to the side of Real Madrid. And I think Bayern Munich will knock on the door of Arsenal to obviously sign Zinchenko. And they'll be like, Zinchenko, you are going to be the first choice left back for the side of this team. And I know Zinchenko, I think at a certain point X played with Vincent Kompany. And let's see, when did Vincent Kompany quit Man City? You get? Man City. When did he really throw in his boots? He was 33 years of age, and 2019. So in 2019, Zinchenko was at Man City, meaning that they know each other very well. And if at all they want to bring him on, maybe Kompany will be like, please, Obi, can you please come in at Bayern Munich and really do something special in here? For you remember, he's also reuniting with Roy Sane, another player that was really having hardships of renewing his contract with Bayern Munich. And right now, you see it as a very huge possibility for him to put pen to paper, because this guy knows him to the nerves. Now, let's obviously go to Fabrizio Romano. He has gone ahead to sound a here we go for the side of Antonio Conte to Napoli. And he said, Antonio Conte as new Napoli head coach. Here we go. Agreement reached on every detail, also including add-ons after fixed salary, image rights, and staff members. Conte will sign the contract valid until 2027. Documents approved. Huge appointment for Napoli. Now, when you look at the quality that is at Napoli, you really get shocked that they finished, is it 11th this season? Yet last season, they really won the Scudetto and they are really the Italian champions. But after their manager, is it Spalletti, I don't know, forgotten his name, left them, you get, they went ahead to get problems and they couldn't obviously settle up to getting a new manager. And in just one season, I think Napoli has gone ahead to see close to 3 managers or more sacked and 4 or 3 brought in at the club of Napoli. And it shows you how disorganized the president was, that he couldn't obviously wait for his team to obviously get to where it deserved to be in, as far as really getting into the winning ways. But when you bring in Antonio Conte, he gives you an assurance that he's gonna really make all those players huge. Now, the big question is, can the coming in of this guy really help Napoli keep its players? Because Napoli still has its players. I think the big player they've gone ahead to lose from the team that really went to win the league in the season of 2022-2023 was Kim Min-jae. But they got in some huge amount of money, close to 50 million euros. Now, Victor Osimhen is still there. Kvaratskhelia is still there. Anguissa is also there, plus others. But the big question is, can they convince those players to stay? I tell you, as I've gone ahead to mention all those 3 players, they are needed. They are needed. They are needed, I tell you. And Napoli has to really do a lot and to see to it that this guy who goes by the names of what's the name of the manager? Antonio Conte can come in through and really put in a very good shift to see to it that he keeps these players, because they're really having some good players that he might really find themselves being sold in there for you. There is Simeone, Kvaratskhelia, Poliatano, there is Anguissa, there is Oliveira, there is Lorenzo. They're really having some good number of players that can come in through and really do the needful. Victor Osimhen is one of those that is on the table, and very many teams might be really in need of a striker that he has not going to put in very many numbers. And the next video I'm uploading on this channel is going to be about Victor Osimhen. I don't know what you guys are going to be really commenting about it, because it's really going to shock you and take you into the shockwaves of the world. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. I call upon for your reactions onto Oleksandr Zinchenko to Bayern Munich transfer. Assessed, what do you make about it? Even Newcastle want to sign him because they feel like Ban is not a left back, supposed to be played on the left side of the center back, and Hal is one of those that is a youngster who needs a player to get experience from. If you're an Arsenal fan, would you wish to sell Zinchenko, or you could keep him at the club of Arsenal? Then secondly, what do you make about Napoli making the deal of Antonio Conte as their new manager official? Here we go, announced. And lastly, what do you make about the Vincent Kompany job and saying that he was not surprised that Bayern Munich were looking up to him? May the living to God bless you abundantly. Second video of the day. More is yet to come. Way out.